serious after that? What is he doing?
Was that part of the scene?
I feel like...
Oh, the slow-mo replay.
Oh my
They're
God.
just unleashing.
I feel like ever since the pauses yesterday, we've just...
been unhinged.
It's just been unleashed.
Yeah.
And we've never come back.
That was a really funny segment.
But it was great.
Ex-teammates.
Shout out to Finn, shout out to Markoon for participating before a big game like this, because it is a big game. The desk talked about it. It was hard to, again, take it seriously because Ender looks like a little chipmunk there on the side of the desk.
He's got cute little cheeks, doesn't he? When he's got
the man's got cheeks.
Got them full of water. But no, it's time for serious mode because we saw the graphic in the standings.
Yep.
SK and Astralis, both two undefeated teams, both tied for first right now with Vitality. Looking good, and especially Astralis just coming off the back of beating G2.
Yeah.
That's got to feel real good with a new starter in the mid lane.
And any other year, you might have called this a fluke, you might have called this a result of best of one, but we saw Astralis and SK both getting so much better, showing us consistently good performances across the winter season, and we have to wonder if this is just the next step in their evolution. And I'm ready to see how far they can go, because as a lot of the more veteran organizations are beginning to fall down, there is room for organizations like SK, for organizations like Astralis to step up, and they did step up in these last 2 days. But this one, I don't know, man, that was an Aurelia montage I saw yesterday, which gives me a lot of faith. Because I've seen a lot of leader montages in my time. You know, he was like the promised Yasuo prodigy for many years. I did not ever see them on stage until yesterday, but that was masterclass.
He's got a wheelhouse. He's got Sylas, Akali, Caedrel, all of these melee champs, Yone, Yasuo.
Your auto attack range is under 150. Leader will bust it out.
Iconic duo. Leader just looks at you and he's like, you know what, I'm going to pick up that champion instantly. I feel like Leader is the kind of player where if the game is messy, because I've heard a lot of Leader's comms throughout the ERLs and I played with him. Like, if he hears a fight's happening, no matter what, even if the fight's disadvantageous, he'll join it and just say, take the fight, because he'll just try and outplay them. Like, I think his biggest strength is mechanical outplays, and that's something he'll always strive for, and that's why he loves these kind of champions. We'll see if he gets something this game. Koi banned Zed against him yesterday.
I liked the Koi ban Zed against him yesterday remix that you just put together for us there, Mark. Of course, we're talking about one side right now. We talked about Astralis, we talked about Leader. It was a great performance from the entire team. And on the opposite side, we've seen from SK Gaming as well, especially day one, immaculate team fighting, Irrelevant, really popping off, really showing up. And this is a matchup where, again, when you looked at these rosters at the start of winter, you might not have known where to focus. You might not have been super excited, but coming into today, I feel like we can look anywhere and we have an interesting matchup based on what we saw. That said, bot lane remains the most interesting to me by far. Had to say by far because we're going to talk about AD carries here.
Saksa.
Exakick DOS versus Kobbe JeongHoon. I mean, already we're seeing 3 AD bans. These are the guys who have the potential to carry their teams, who have been star performers. 2 AD carries who are fighting to be in top 3 right now, I think it's safe to say, alongside Upset and Hansama based on the performances we've seen thus far.
Wow, look at all these AD carry bans. Xayah, Varus, Zeri, Lucian, Caitlyn all taken off. What does that leave? Sivir, Ezreal, Aphelios, Draven are like the next in line of AD carries that we'll see. Looks like Markoon will be on tank duty as his goes towards the Sejuani. I think it's his most played next to Vi. And I think the importance of Vi might drop slightly with things like Zeri being out, Lucian being out, these mobile AD carries that you need to lock down, so they value tank and engage over everything. Oftentimes here you'll see things like Jace Flex, Gragas Flex, Veigar Insta locked in there.
Veigar.
Alongside the Vi as well. Will be good setup.
Now, while it is a giant meme that Leader only plays melee champions, that is what we've historically seen him tend towards. So seeing an instant lock Veigar here.
This is a Veigar flex, I think.
It is. It must be, because I'm not ready to call it mid laner yet. Support? Is that the angle here? I don't know what you've seen in solo queue so far.
I think it's probably AD carry Veigar flex, because I remember Kobbe used to play a lot of Veigar bot, and I know that Kobbe has always been a pretty proficient mage player on the bot side of the map. So. And Leader's champion pool is very AD heavy, so having AP somewhere else, especially on bot lane, is great. If they can play some kind of like Veigar Gwen or something along those lines with a Zed, that would be Astralis bread and butter skirmish heavy. It was in the BLG series today, Yagal was playing Veigar. It looked so strong when you have champions like Gnar even, anything that can knock them into the cage.
And I think the big thing here too, as well, is that the premier duo that is left on the table, based on what we've seen over the last few days, is Aphelios Thresh, but the Thresh Lantern is just essentially hard countered. And you talked about pulling someone into the cage, and I think you're right. I think your read is completely correct. Now, of course, Kobbe played the Veigar last summer. Shout out to our stats team for getting us the stats there pretty quick, but this is a ruthless combo. If any hook hits you, the cage is guaranteed to hit you. If the cage comes down, you get out of it, you can get hooked back into it. This is merciless.
SK should know this is 100% Veigar Pyke bot. Like, you don't pick Pyke like that if you're not playing with a self-sufficient, like, mage wave clear champion, unless they are playing something like Veigar mid with Ziggs. You can see the Aurelia bans already. They read it. They know Kobbe is going onto that Veigar. It's a bit of a fake flex, I think, you know, when you have players like Leader and Kobbe on your team, because Kobbe likes it. Leader's not really played it at all. So SK won't fall for that trap. I'm yet to be surprised. If they do put it mid, I'll be very surprised, but we'll have to see what happens. But I'm really excited for this draft already. The execute damage on Astralis already is absurd. Pyke Veigar, if you're within that threshold, instantly gone.
And if you're not, you're going to get to the threshold pretty damn quick with the amount of easy setup. These 3 champions alone should be able to kill Aphelios in any and every team fight, assuming they get close enough. And I think that's part of the reason why the Scion is now banned away, is they do not want to give SK the avenue to fight front to back, to be comfortable. GP taken out 2. I like SK taking that one away because, again, Finn has shown excellent performances in Winter, but also this is something that a champion like Veigar could really struggle with. You get caught out by a GP ult, you don't really have the mobility to get away from any champion that wants to dive onto you.
What do you pick here? Jace would be quite nice. Do you want to flex Jace? Yeah, Jax also works pretty nice. I think countering mid is important. See where this Annie goes. Give Leader all the tools he needs to find a pick into it. See what a relevant matches it with. Often we see Gragas into Jax, Gnar, something that can just go even. You never really see any kind of explosive matchups. Fiora is something Irrelevant could opt into, but it's a bit of a risky matchup to go in towards. It's more of like an Eastern answer. Orin is another one if you just want to play a raw tank. They have got an immobile mage, but it's actually going to be Sejuani top by the looks of it. And they're going to put Markoon on the Lee Sin jungle. Now that opens up things like Ahri here, and Talia especially, for Sertuss if he wants to go towards a control kind of style alongside the Lee Sin to pair well. We'll have to see. It could also be any mid.
Is he a Lee Sin solo lane enjoyer? I'm inclined to agree with you. Sejuani top feels like the safer bet. Obviously, it was popular in metas past. And so now, again, we're going to get our see the Rakan come out for DOS. This was a massive factor in their win on day 1. Massive team fight, team play, engagement. All those options is now Leader debating here. Yone's like at 20-30% magic damage, so it doesn't hurt too much. You've got a lot of champions, Jax and Yone both going to do a little bit of magic damage, but I think it should be more than enough AD alongside a Pyke to be fine. Instead, the Sylas now coming out. You got a lot of good ults to take away.
Interesting. I think maybe a little bit more on the AP side than they would have wanted, because Jax does have a nice little bit of magic damage there as well, and they're not playing an auto attack damage champion. Oftentimes when you have a comp with a mage bot lane, you want to play something that can actually burn Nash down with DPS. An auto attack based champion, Tristana Lucian mid was the old school way of doing it. Now they don't have something like Yasuo or Yone to like on-hit crit to get things like the objectives down, so that's going to hurt them a little bit, but their skirmish will be good, their team fights will be good, they have a lot of control. I think Leader has a lot of good ults to take away, but his champion innately, they have quite short range, so he should be able to find his way onto the backline.
Incredibly short range. This has to be, I mean, Veigar is going to give you a little bit of protection with the cage to walk up for only himself to auto-attack the tower. This is going to be a little bit tricky if they cannot snowball a lead. If we get to a point where SK can maybe secure a Baron, this composition can fall apart very quickly. They don't have good wave clear, but as you highlighted, 3v3 skirmishes early, these first heralds, these first objectives, it's going to be so hard for SK Gaming to match in terms of just the sheer amount of utility coming out from these champions on the Astralis side.
And I think we're already seeing in the first week here that Leader's champion pool kind of unlocks Kobbe's a bit, because he can play these mages, but if you have a mage mid player, it's really hard to play mage spot because he doesn't want to lean into these skirmish heavy champions. And the meta is so kind of fluid right now that you can play whatever you want. Even Closer in Sandbox is playing things like Irelia mid. So you can play anything in any situation if you think it's a good angle, and Leader has all of these pocket picks that pair well with mage bots, so I think their drafting has just become a little bit easier when it comes to flexes. Quite easy to read into sometimes though, but it does get you some of these weird skirmish heavy drafts.
Wow! From the USA, welcome to EMEA, welcome to Berlin, and welcome to SK Gaming versus Astralis, our first, and I'm going to say best matchup of the day.
First place versus first place.
And you know what? I'm just going to call it out right now. JeongHoon, Halo Blades, Pyke. If you pick anything else in solo queue, you're a baby. You're a little baby, and you should be braver and pick Halo Blades.
They're trying to cheese the Sejuani. I saw this, I don't know if it was in the LCK, but there was an Ignite TP Sejuani top, and they always tried to go for a level 1. In their game, it did work. Because obviously they're not running flash, right? It's just an easy kill if you can get any CC on them, but then it looks like they're not able to pull that off. Nice idea. Won't result in anything.
Not able to force Irrelevant to take an unoptimal skill either. So just a bit of an information trade. DOS does manage to get that vision down. We'll see where 113 starts, but the second that ward is placed, you know where the jungler is starting.
And I think it's always fun to look at the minimap. You just saw 113 ping Raptors red Krugs. red pings on the bot side jungle of Markoon. I think he's just guessing what he's going to do. Might be right, actually. If he does something like red Raptor's Crux, anything along those lines, go towards bot. But I think top side is where both these junglers should look to focus. The Lee Sin Sejuani can be pretty strong in the 2v2s. And a Pyke Rakan lane doesn't have that much kill pressure, I feel like. They're both quite mobile supports.
Yeah.
Unless you can lock down the enemy AD carry.
Level 1 can be very impactful for the Pyke. If he does connect on a hook, that and Hail of Blades is often lane defining, but normally you see Pyke paired with a champion who can do a little bit more at level 1. Veigar, Aphelios, both pretty trash as far as level 1 damage output goes.
Important to note here on the bot side, matching skins for Astralis.
Love to see it.
Both rocking the green.
People underestimate when you queue up for duo queue, but you really need to have matching skins. Just get a chroma. You know
get a chroma. I think JeongHoon and Kobbe definitely talks about it. Is that a Pyke chroma? I think it is a Pyke.
It's Pyke chroma. Yeah, that's a chroma.
Yeah. And then it's the Veigar skin, obviously. I think JeongHoon was looking for a hook there, but he realized if I hook DOS and he W's on my AD carry,
yeah, you're in trouble.
Could be a bad trade. So not going to opt into that. Markoon's gone for red into a clear top side, and 113 will be matching that.
Yeah. Lane matchup feels just a little bit awkward on the bottom side, just because Aphelios feels pretty good at level 2. Rakan maybe would want the level 3. It's a similar story for Kobbe as well. But I think once level 3 is coming out, we'll see a little bit more aggressive play there on the bottom side. For now, just checking in on the top lane matchup. Sjokz using some of those base stats, base tankiness to trade back with the Jax. 113 shows his face here, takes the ward out, will walk into Markoon here.
I think in the long run, Markoon wins because he has Conquer.
Yep, should do it.
He needs to keep this fight extended.
Continuing to auto-attack, needs to get away from the Q. Bit of a miscalculation here. Sertuss now coming on the way up. Leader wants to take the fight. Flash out to safety. Is Sertuss going to be forced to flash as well?
Looks like the Vi actually has a lot of base damage in that level 3. I thought Lee Sin would be alright, but I think when you're both half HP or around 60%, the fight doesn't extend as long as you would want if you were both full HP. Now he's looking towards mid. Leader's going to look to connect the chain.
Sertuss stunned up here. I think he's just going to have to flash out to safety. Is it even going to be enough space? Markoon can jump in and shield, but I think he just dies too in the process. Is still going to go in anyway. Now trying to turn and burn. Excellent use of the Sonic Wave resonating strike, but JeongHoon is here. JeongHoon trying to be the difference maker. Sertuss burning, ticking. Leader going to grab the kill, but he's got no mana. But just then, he's going to tick up. He manages to get a cookie, but this Pyke is a dead man walking.
How long on the E cooldown? No Q on Lee Sin.
DOS going in.
There's the E.
Holds the E.
He doesn't have W, so he's a bit stuck here.
He can Q him back over their base wall. He's dead.
Is it an execute, though?
Good question.
I
1, 2.
No, it's
no. DOS gets it.
Wow, okay, nice turn there by the SK mid-jungle. I think Annie had the stun up on the W, got the double stun, and then Markoon managed to burst straight through 113. Nice for Astralis to get the presence of mind onto leader, but yeah, Markoon had a full stacked Conqueror and was just shredding straight through them. That's going to be a really fed Lee Sin in this early game.
Good call on presence of mind there. And yeah, here we see, I mean, looks really bad initially, but this is one of the things you talked about with the Lee Sin.
Oh, close.
Once you get low, you get a lot of impact out of this Lee Sin Q.
Yeah, 113 tried to predict the flash of Sertuss, and he got the right idea in the direction. He just didn't have enough range on it, so he couldn't get the kill. And here, I think DOS, he has E. I believe he might have Q as well or something along those lines. I'm not exactly sure what spell he has, but either way, both supports are level 2. That just hurts Rakan more because he has 3 combat spells, whereas the Pyke W is more for a gap close. So Markoon's now up towards this top side. Contest over mid. Irrelevant pops the Ignite.
Flashing out safety. Respect there from Finn. Knows that he'll get stunned up. Pulling down to the rest of his team. Well, back away, but already a very explosive early game. 1.3k gold lead. Almost entirely on the back of that bot side play. Level 2 still. For JeongHoon, not ideal. Again, you really... Kobbe level 5. These supports are just refusing to lane.
You're going to love to see it. Skirmish heavy around mid. I feel like leader is...
I would love to see him get level 3, personally.
And then leave.
And then
so
leave,
he can use all his spells.
There we go. Okay, now I'm back.
And he listened to you.
There
now
it is.
He's gone again. Off he goes on his wonderful walks around the map. And I think leader is just like... He's like a black hole in mid, you know, he just sucks everyone in. He's just permanently trading, super aggressive, and all supports have to come towards mid. We saw it in the G2 game. And I think we're kind of seeing the same thing here, just calling resources. 113 always loves to hover around. Sertuss no flash means that JeongHoon will likely visit mid. But he's just covering Kobbe right now. DOS looking for some information as to where the Pyke is.
Yeah. Of course, the biggest difference right now, you see a pretty sizable gold lead for SK, but most of that money is in the back pocket of Markoon, so he's going to be the player that we have to watch to try to snowball the lead that SK have been able to build thus far. The rest of the areas of the map are still very close. No significant item differences yet. Of course, normally when I look at, you know, kind of the Pyke Veigar bot lane, I'm like, ooh, level 6, they're going to kill people. But JeongHoon's going to be level 4, maybe, when Kobbe is level 6. So I think that plan of using the 2v2 for kill pressure might have to wait a little bit longer.
I think it's actually I mean, JeongHoon will need level 6, but he's playing really low econ Pyke, isn't he? Look what he's doing now. He's running top. I think he knows there's a play coming. 4-man dive on the way to Finn. He's halfway to level 6, so he won't get access to that ultimate. JeongHoon's not enough to cover this.
That's actually
messed
big.
up. They messed that up, but I think they should be able to go for it anyway. Leader's way too far away.
On the way in, level 5 for Finn. Can't get the extra stats. He's going to try to body block what he can. Easy kill onto the Pyke. Finn now going to do it. He's going to try to find a reset here, get away from the bear, but he's just trying to clear the wave. He knows he's already dead. Double kill on the top side for SK. Almost 3K now in the lead.
They are dominating this game here, SK. Leader has just arrived to basically do nothing anyway. Relevant will get the plate, he'll get a couple of minions here, and there's no cross map available. So JeongHoon could have been bot looking for a dive, but he tried to cover. 113 was on Gromp though, and that was just a clean execution from SK. The second they saw the Pyke, they just instantly went onto the level 3 Pyke. You talked about how, you know, vulnerable the Pyke can be. One shot in a stun, and then drop the aggro, let Tibbers do the work, and then re-engage after tower aggro is reset and the damage is gone. So Astralis needs to look for some more plays here. They're not really getting involved in these skirmishes. It's SK just dominating the map. Markoon on this Lee Sin. 4-0-1.
And I think, again, credit to SK, because we really were, when looking at these drafts, we recognized immediately the skirmish power that Astralis could bring to bear, but SK have matched and outmatched in so many circumstances now, resulting in this 2K gold lead. Ulti going to go a little bit wide, searches for the sidestep. Doss in the area. An excellent coverage once again from Doss here.
I see what you did there. To bear, because there's an any.
I didn't, but I'll take the credit. Thank you.
Hidden puns.
Got
Subconscious puns. They're
everywhere.
They're the deadliest ones. JeongHoon level 4 still up towards his top side. 113 is dinged over to level 6. Sertuss has access to that Tibbers very soon. Looks like Astralis is just going to force it. Kobbe is even making his way up here. So what does SK do? They try to match. Right now it looks like Exakick's pushing out bot. Just going to give this one up by the looks of it. Go towards bot side, take Drake perhaps. JeongHoon's going to get some information. We'll find Doss. I think Exakick can start melting through this tower with his guns.
Yeah, what guns does he have? That is going to be the big question.
Yep.
Okay, well, he's going to murder this tower. You have insanely high attack speed the closer you are to your target.
So much ammo as well. Oh my god.
White gun, so...
No, stop it.
There you go. Folks, if you have not seen this yet, this is your #1 Aphelios tip. Anytime someone tries to go to do Herald, just ignore them and take 3 plates. It's the easiest trade deal of your life. Aphelios and Tristana, 2 of the only champions in the game that can essentially just out-trade a Herald like this.
Yeah, maybe Jinx as well in some cases with the attack speed, but yeah, you're definitely right. Aphelios, Tristana are the ones you want to look out for. And for Astralis, it's a bit weird because JeongHoon doesn't really want to be bot because his... I mean, look at the items on Kobbe. He's just going full scaling, right? It makes a lot of sense. But he can't really get any fights rolling on the top side because they lose all lanes right now and they get pushed in. They have deep vision towards their jungle, which will slowly start to accrue and get worse and worse. Right now it's just on that top tri-bush, but the ward's slowly fading away. And they're going to get Dragon here now, SK. So as long as Relevant's playing safe, not getting too cocky, no cross map available again.
Difficult position they find themselves in. SK grabbed a couple plates on the bottom side, grabbed the Dragon for now, holding on to their gold lead. Of course, there is still a Herald in the back pocket.
Beautiful.
113. But yeah, you love this, don't you? A Rakan just standing there to be jumped to.
When you're just jungling and your support just starts pulling out the camps and like hits them with you, just feels so safe.
If you want that feeling, you could just play AD carry, where they have to hold the wave for you.
No, but then I have to like learn.
A yes sir, please sir, thank you sir kind of situation.
If I start maining AD carry, I have to learn how to whine.
Ah, yeah, that's true.
I'm not much of a whiner, really. So, I'm not sure if I can get that.
Okay, just say it one time with me. Support diff.
Support. I mean, that's jungle role as well.
Yeah, support diff. You just get practice saying it, but you gotta get the earnestness.
It's more like gank bot.
Like support diff. You know.
Yeah.
Really let them know that you're no way at fault. Delusion is the core strength of an AD carry.
It is. I mean, look at both AD carries this game. They're just chilling. They're just farming waves.
It's actually so messed up because both these AD carries are good. Not these AD carries.
Yeah.
Solo queue AD carries.
Solo queue AD carries, yeah.
These AD carries are doing their job, and their job right now is to farm it up.
Should we play a game?
We could play a game.
Small one. Not a too crazy of a game. JeongHoon's level 4. He's about to be level 5.
Yep.
What time do you think he'll hit level 6 in the game? I'm going to say 13:50.
13:50. I'm taking 14:30.
Okay. All right. We'll see who's closer.
That seems impossible, actually, now that I've said it. That's so far away. All right.
Time flies.
Yeah.
It does.
When you're having fun.
Especially when you're dying in these top fights.
Irrelevant is not having fun. He's going to get knocked up and taken out there. 113, finding the play on the top side. Still has the Herald. Could look to lock it down. Markoon now locked up. Clean combo. Coming in, Leader. He's got a stolen bear tethered to him.
Leader's bear.
Leader's bear.
It's fading away quite quickly, though. That's going to
Frank and
disappear.
Tibbers.
Oh my god, look what they're unleashing. A Herald, a Tibbers, Frank and Tibbers. Just going to back away, couple plates. Is Leader in range? Did he walk up? He's going to walk up now and realize, like, hang on a second.
Leader's got this, doing this Pokemon trainer thing, man. He got a Herald, got a Bear. He's really trying to catch them all right now.
All he needs now is a Dragon, and that's spawning in 3 minutes.
Fair.
We saw the power of dragons yesterday, or Saturday, sorry.
True.
Perks on the Aurelion Soul. Yeah, so
Yeah,
Finn's just going to stop the base. Not sure if he
Okay,
wants to do that.
Finn! That might have been questionable. Quick flash out to safety.
Hashtag worth. So JeongHoon hasn't even gotten a tick of XP yet. Hang on a second.
Oh, there he's going back over the wall. 1-3, too little, too late. But the Hook coming over, waiting, trying to buy a bit more time. Hook's DOS back, definitely not the ideal target. Not level 6 yet, but the flash through.
Markoon.
Gonna make sure that he gets the stun. Markoon still living.
How is he out? Is he out? DOS can block. Oh, he tried to get him with the E through the...
Oh my god.
They tried to pull him out
No,
of it.
it's so clean!
He tried to pull him out so that the 1-1-3 could land it. And he was also blocking. Tried to E him through it as well. Didn't get the kill. That's 800 gold that just slipped away.
DOS leaves no man behind. And now 1-1-3. Is he gonna go back in? Markoon, you psycho. No. He's gonna resist.
Psycho.
You know his body was telling him yes.
Oh yeah, it's classic Lee Sin. You always just want to send it, pop the Gore Drinker and hope you've got enough damage. Wow, Irrelevant's just taking a full top tower all the meanwhile.
And I gotta say, I was really ready for this to be about AD carry versus AD carry. We got this very pretty Exakick versus Kobbe graphic, but this is jungle support versus jungle support, and Markoon DOS.
Dude, they're just listening to payphone, like full blast. They can barely hear their teammates.
It's
just
a band
farming
of-
creeps,
band-
like
yeah.
tabbing in and out, watching series.
Meanwhile, these two are like fighting. There's like Army of Two. Do you ever play that game, like Xbox game? Just like back to
Xbox
back.
One, the first Xbox.
Guns a-blazing. You know, jumping in front of hooks, taking bullets for each other.
Left 4 Dead style.
Yeah, this is the
Fighting for their
dynamic
lives.
people dream of when they queue up for duo queue.
This really is a support diff, really, isn't it? You just sit there and they roam around the map. You close your eyes and open them, and you've basically won the game or lost it in the next 10 minutes. Exakick pushing JeongHoon away. So he's a quarter of the way towards level 6.
It's 13 minutes.
Dropping all... Not really farming at all, is he? DOS is level
What did you
6.
say, 1350?
I said 1350, you said 1430.
1430.
Looks like we both might be wrong, unless he gets a couple more waves.
Oh, observers, do you know something I don't? Is he about to just get 6 here?
No. He needs 2 more waves on top of this one. He's very close. He needs 1 more wave, basically.
He's walking away from the XP. There might also be a dive here, but we're really
We're so
mired in our
invested.
bet.
But there might be a fight, actually, as well.
DOS could get caught out here. Gonna get hooked back, but does not get pulled over the wall. That's gonna be big. DOS now locked up. Should just get cut down here. No room to maneuver. And that is the pick potential of this Astralis comp.
Yep.
Finally coming through.
It is. Look at level 10 Aphelios, level 5 Pyke. 14 minutes in. Trying to hover around bot side and get some wards down by looks of it. He has a pink in his inventory. Maybe they're trying to threaten some kind of dive if
Does
they
this
do
man
decide to
only
walk up.
want kill experience?
Oh my
Is
god,
he
I think
doing a
you're
challenge?
going to be bang smack on the money, Drakos. If he stays for this bot wave, you've landed it. 10 seconds on the next wave.
He's gonna leave.
He's going to base. Oh no.
He's gonna make fools of us all.
Oh no. He's just basically 2 creeps away.
He refuses.
Yeah, it's going to be 15.
This is like... Okay, we've made too many references today, but you know when they have like the training vest on in Dragon Ball Z and they take it off? He's like...
In the spaceship?
Yeah, exactly. He's just keeping the pre-level 6 Pyke training vest on as long as possible.
He's going to do some thousands of press-ups on the spot.
Yeah.
When that falls off.
That said, League of Legends works nothing like anime, so you're just weaker.
I don't know. Did you see TRX winning Worlds? That looked like an anime to me.
Fair. In-game.
In-game, yeah.
Yeah. The narratives get pretty anime sometimes.
They do. TP top. Markoon starts Herald. JeongHoon will get 6 now. So 15:01. 31 seconds off. Not too bad. And I think that's it. That's all JeongHoon needs. Now he can just run around looking for picks constantly. He doesn't really need to soak any more waves.
Yeah.
And the best thing about playing things like Pyke is you want to make sure you're in fog of war as much as possible, so the enemy team's always guessing where you are. You never really want to show yourself on lanes unless you're really soaking up that experience.
Yeah. I think the downside right now is that there's a lot of these deficits that are so hard to manage that even if Pyke shows up, might not be enough to break open some of these discrepancies. Kobbe starting to build up a bit of a gold lead here. Not sure how he's 700 ahead. I guess plates must have come through.
A couple plates, most likely. And I think he's just waiting to get towards that Seraph's, get Roll of Ages up to 10 stacks. You can see there, 145 stacks, More and more AP. And I think the issue that SK have is just, that Astralis have, sorry, is that SK has 2 Drakes, and I think they have Herald too, so they need to make sure that they're playing 2 Responds rather than making too many plays of their own. If they go top as 4 and they try to kill, I don't know, Irrelevant, they might just lose 2 mid towers for it, right? They have Herald, you're just going to lose so much, not really worth it. It's just better to play reactive at the moment. stop them from getting in your jungle.
I think this is one of the issues that I see already is that I kind of expected Astralis to hit the ground running a bit more, and their mid game is really strong, and we are well kind of cemented in the mid game at this point. But the later we go, SK's composition just feels like it has a lot more reliable tools overall. Getting this triple melee topside into a fight, getting him onto your enemy backline is going to be hard in the face of an Annie, in the face of a Sejuani and a Lee Sin. So Astralis really need to see how they're going to execute this. How they're actually going to make these picks feel good outside of just throwing down a cage or fishing for a pick with their ultimates.
Oh, he lost the cannon. You hate to see it. -1 on the gold and the stacks. Yeah, Astralis just defending their topside jungle. But you're right, I think the fact that they have an AD carry just means it only gets better for SK. And the fact that Astralis have barely any frontline means if XK gets towards 3 items and can be safe in fights, it's going to be a montage.
Confidence from DOS stepping forward here. Exakick gets the root, gets the lock up.
Oh.
DOS flashing to follow. JeongHoon just barely able to get out of that one.
Oof. Not too bad. They just traded Rakan ult and flash for Pyke flash, but the problem is SK now have a wave in. They're going to pop the Herald. I don't think they'll get this tower. No objective to play for either. 2 minutes on the Drake. Leader's fighting on bots right now. I think he's getting engaged on by Irrelevant. Lost half his HP. He's going to be prone to a dive now. He needs to be careful.
Sejuani just very powerful with the Jack Shell already. DOS again just continuing to look for these engaged. JeongHoon on the way in. They're going to burn through Leader before the fight even starts. JeongHoon now fishing for the hook. He will not find it. Finn coming in, looking for a multi-man stun. Only going to find the Lee Sin for now. Sejuani all turning. Kobbe control so much space with the cage here, but they're going to have to be happy with the bare minimum, which is a bear. Damn.
Starting again. Loads of bear ones. And they barely get out alive.
Wow. Tense.
They lost mid tower for that, yeah. Good play by SK. And I think Markoon just solidifies the play. Just ward jump in, kick QQ, don't let Leader get out. Don't let him dash away, don't let him try to turn this fight whatsoever. And get the dive and get out. And I think Sertuss, yeah, just defended them pretty well with that Tibbers. And then they move towards mid. Exakick doesn't even have to join them. He just takes mid tower all the meanwhile. And I think here, good engage. Markoon still has flash, doesn't waste it. Tibbers to peel. Actually does flash out. I thought he actually used W, but flashes out. Cage is not in range.
Get the flash, get the Rakan flash as well. So some cooldowns taken off the board. Flash, of course, earlier from Rakan rather. But this stage, SK just continuing to trade up. Again, holding on to the 2 dragon advantage. Next drag is in 1 minute and 15. It is just a Cloud Soul, but a lot of ultimate reliant champions here, so will be significant.
Looks like Kobbe is just skipping the Seraphs and going straight to Rabadons. He needs to get as much AP as possible, spike as quick as he can. Maybe he knows they might be facing a little bit of a scaling problem and he wants to get as much damage. Glass Cannon now. Looking for a pick on bot here.
Stepping forward, hook onto Sertuss will connect. An immediate chance to see, but that's the stopwatch coming in. Exakick, bad guns for a fight, but it might not matter here as they're going to take out JeongHoon before the fight even kicks off. Kobbe now throwing down the cage, trying to create a bit more space for the rest of the team. Irrelevant continuing to step forward. Finn now in trouble. Dark Matter will not connect. Big stun, big CC, right onto the backline, right onto Exakick, and they will finish him. Leader and Finn versus the world. Kobbe continuing to step forward, throwing down. The damage is big from the Veigar. Astralis are turning this. Astralis are holding on, but at least Sin is coming, and Leader needs to get the hell out. He is now running for his life. One more Q, one more kick, dash out, but the Sonic Wave will connect.
Markoon comes in to save the day, but it's a 3 for 3. No, it's a 3 for 4 actually. JeongHoon's respawned. That's how long the fight went on for. Irrelevant, really low on HP. Good turn by Astralis. I thought that fight was done for, and SK would just clean up. But on the last tick of HP, 113 turns onto Exakick. Finn and Leader managed to finish him off and skirmish their way out of what looked like a really dire situation. Markoon makes sure that they win the fight there. Initially missing the Q, so he was a tiny bit later than he would have wanted. Dragon's up. Looks like a round 2 could come in. Pings on the Baron as well, which is also spawning. I wonder if their SK is saying, let's just ignore Drake and go towards Nash here. Sertuss has TP, there's a mid-wave in. All of the vision is on the bot side of the map right now for Astralis, but Markoon's position's awkward. They need to run up quickly if they want to get this sorted. JeongHoon will pop the sweeper and see Markoon running towards the Baron, so that means Astralis have the information. And I think the call will be called off.
Yeah, Baron has to stop there. Exakick holding on to 1 or 2 points of ammo in the Graviton maybe in case they can find a pick. Is Markoon going to start this Raptor camp? But Dragon being finished right as the top side of Astralis coming back onto the map means there's no real angle for the Baron at this stage for SK. It is something that will be much easier to threaten as we get later and later into the game. Sjokz and Aphelios together obviously going to do a lot of work in terms of shredding that objective down, especially with the gun combo Exakick has now. But it would be very bold to start it.
They want to fight again here. Look at Finn. He's just waiting for them to go on this mid-wave. But they're in the top side jungle right now, trying to get red over to Exakick. Finn's collapsing down. Engaged by 113.
Exakick. Where's the follow-up going to go? Leader now trying to come in with a Sejuani ult over the wall. Exakick still standing strong. You do not want to fight into this Aphelios, into this choke, but the baby cage will buy them a bit of space. Now getting locked up. Leader taken out before the fight really even kicks off.
poor engage by Astralis. 1-1-3 getting a little bit too excited. He saw Exakick with no flash, Q flash ulted, but his team was so far away. And by the time he goes in, he goes out, leader goes in.
Yep, and Aphelios is murdering this Baron. He has infinite chakram, courtesy of laying down those turrets, so he's just going to shred through this objective alongside Markoon. 6k gold lead for SK. Every time Astralis try to keep it close, every time they try to make it scrappy, SK come out on top.
Getting harder and harder and harder now. 2-item Aphelios. Yeah, the Bloodthirst is going to do so much work to keep him alive in these fights. Force of Nature picked up for Irrelevant. Yeah, 1-1-3, too deep. We'll see it again. X-Kick, no flash. 1-1-3 sees him, and he's like, well, let's just go, go, go. But look where Leader is. The ult's popped, yes. But Leader can never get there in range, and then by the time Leader's going in, 1-1-3 is going out. Actually turns onto Irrelevant with the rest of his team, but once 1-1-3 leaves, the backline can step up. Leader's in the front line, he goes down. They need to make sure they get that one target down quickly, and then turn onto the rest after they fall. But if they can never really sync up on that one target, it's just a mess for Astralis.
And it's so hard to get on top of Exakick. Really have to find the perfect angle. Finn stepping forward here onto Sertuss. Trying to get the pick. Excellent cage to stop DOS. DOS could now be the target, but Markoon waiting over the wall. JeongHoon's going to fish with the hook, but will not get it. Exakick pushing in on the bottom lane already. Now they're going to try to find the fight at a man advantage. They're immediately going. They're immediately kicking the fight off. Stopwatch. Will it come out in time? Sertuss still running, still holding on to the cooldown. Unafraid as 1-1-3 just gets deleted. JeongHoon on the backside is going to die as well. There is nowhere for this Pyke to go. Astralis are trying to dig themselves out of this hole, but they are just digging themselves deeper.
Look at Markoon, 10-0 and 2 on Lee Sin, 1,000 gold, legendary alongside DOS, who's been helping him out on all these fights. Leader's in trouble, wrong side of the map.
Has a Lee Sin kick to get a little bit of space, but that should just be it. Getting beaten down there on the bottom side, and really just massive credit to SK. Not at all phased by the composition that Astralis have brought out today, and building a lot of these laning advantages and just never really giving anything over to the side of Astralis.
It's funny how the AD carries still really haven't gotten involved that much. 3-kill participation on both of them. Kobbe's trying his best, but the X-Kick's just sitting there scaling, saying, guys, I'll carry the brunt of the game in the 25-minute mark onwards. But Markoon and DOS doing all the work.
Knock up, huge combo over the wall, and that's got to be it. There's a Jax on top side, but with those death timers ticking down, SK, I believe they've taken this one.
This is 24 minutes into the game, and they're about to end it. Markoon, 12-0 and 4. I have to just give a massive shout out to the jungle support of SK this game, just outclassing Astralis, matching every play, making plays happen. Astralis never really found a response. Can they end though? Irrelevant doesn't have TP. Leader's going to throw out the ultimate. 5 seconds
coming
on
in. DOS re-engaging. Leader dies. That should just be the end. They're taking their time. Respawn coming in from JeongHoon, but unless he hooks someone into that tower, or that nexus rather.
5 seconds on 1-1-3. Irrelevant slow. I think they've got this.
There's
really,
no way.
Yeah.
They just all need to hit it. Just hit the nexus. The game is over.
DPM though. DPM.
DPM farming.
Yeah.
SK Gaming. After Astralis' performance yesterday, I thought this would be hard. I thought this would be a close-fought match, but SK had Astralis' number, and you highlighted it, and we have to say it again. It is criminal that we cannot give player of the game to 2 players, because DOS together with Markoon. Whew.
What has happened to SK? They are unreal this year. First place, 3-0, demolishing everyone in their path right now. I thought that maybe the momentum would drop a little bit after winter. You know, you go through a break, patches change, maybe they struggle to get back on the horse, but they're galloping.
Yeah. This is, I'm consistently impressed this season by just a lot of different teams. I was impressed yesterday by Astralis, and I'm impressed today by how handedly SK dismantled the same team that pretty cleanly beat G2 yesterday. They're all just best at once right now, but it is impressive. That is the best performance we have seen from support jungle from SK, I'm going to say ever.
Yeah, definitely agree. It was basically flawless, really, wasn't it? Especially from Markoon. Almost died a couple times, especially on that entrance red towards the top side. Just
that
got away.
Clip of him walking away at like 150 HP and DOS just, oh, nope, that hook's not going to hit. Oh, body blocked that one.
Absolute Giga Chad on the Rakan.
Yeah.
Standing in the way. Yeah, good teamwork from SK especially. That wasn't just like, as much as it was good individual skill and mechanics in the fights, just good teamwork. Always there, always ready to respond in all these fights. And I think each team has like a flair behind them, something to be excited about, something that feels different from prior years.
Yeah, and I think the thing that I'm really enjoying is very often when teams that are historically lower down in the standings start to rise, it's because of a single player change. And it was easy for us maybe in winter to mostly just talk about Exakick. He was a big shining star for this team, and he's continued to be. But in this game where it was not at all about 80 carries, Markoon again standing up, reminding people what he's about, showing how great, how good he can be. Sertuss played Annie. He did very well. But you need to vote for the left or the right player on your screen there.
Yeah.
Yes, bias. Lots of bias.
Lots of, I can think.
Or just, you could call it analysis, I guess, because I have eyes and I watched that game. But
hell yeah. Tell him.
Let him know.
Tell him. Yeah, Markoon, great.
Laure's looking at me, but the prompter hasn't scrolled.
Markoon, good.
Markoon
good. Interview.
Oh, Markoon interview.
Are you ready for it? I think
Markoon good. That's how we feel about that game. Let's send it over to Laure.
Markoon, good. Listen, montage. That was a listen show, actually, today. Tell me about the early game.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kept getting kills. I mean, I have to give credit to my team. They just CC'd them, and then I do think I KS'd a lot of kills, but yeah, the early game just went very swimmingly.
Okay, so tell me, was this game easier than not laughing at Sjokz's jokes during the pre-show? For people who missed it, maybe we can show some bits of it. That was a really funny game.
I think the combination of Finn's face with the jokes, it was that game was way harder than this one for sure, yeah.
All right. Well, 3-0 for you guys this week. Tell me about the week, the preparation coming into it, and how do you expect the split is going to go compared to Winter? Because it's getting a well-oiled machine right now for SK.
Yeah, actually, our scrims this week were like a little bit worse than we usually play, actually. I think it was us adapting to the meta, which has shifted a bit. You know, roam with your support more, and it's a little bit less bot lane oriented. So I think our scrims were a bit more fiesta, but I was still pretty confident coming into the week, and I guess it showed that we 3-0.
It really showed. And meta shift, I also want to mention Lycian. I know that you like playing in the early game. It's a champion that suits you really well, I think.
Yeah, I mean, my entire career I've liked playing in the early game, right? And the only problem with Lee Sin that it's kind of a hard champ to play, and if you mess up, you look really like dumb. But I think I've spammed this champ every season in solo queue now for the past 5 years, so I think yeah, I can play it now.
It wasn't one of these days today. Amazing game. Again, on the other side of this interview, they're going to talk about your top laner. And when I was hosting yesterday, we talked about the all-pro top 3, and I think there's an argument to be made about Irrelevant making it there. Tell me about playing with him and his improvements over the course of the year.
Yeah, I think he really surprised me coming into Winter Split. I think he was very good. I thought he was good already because I remember he had a very good in Summer Split. He had a good series against Broken Blade, and he was playing well. So I knew he was good, but playing with him, he's just very, very solid. And I think the change that we've made to this split as well is that we try to play a bit more around top and a bit more carry focus, which also this new meta allows, right? And I think he's stepping up to that role as well and being more vocal and trying to lead the team a little bit more as well.
It really shows. It really shows the unsung hero, I think, here for SK. Let's stay on the top lane topic, but on the other side of the rift, facing Finn today. I know that you guys were talking backstage. You stayed close friends, it feels. Is it special for you facing off an old friend on the rift every time?
Yeah, I mean, I love playing as Finn. It adds a little bit of a personal touch to the game. If I can kill Finn, I'm really happy. And I think in that mid lane plate where I queued into like tier 2, not sure if I do that against other players, to be honest, but it was Finn, so I had to go.
It was personal. Markoon, thank you so much for the interview. We'll see you next week for week 2. And Sjokz, back to you for postgame.
Thank you so much. What a lovely interview. Always from Markoon. Also love that Dutch accent. But in any case, that Lee Sin, though, crazy. Just took over the game. We could probably play a highlight montage of the whole thing. And he said, yeah, sometimes it's difficult to play or it's stressful because if you do make a mistake, you look really, really silly. I didn't see one, but that was maybe because he was so fed that he was just always killing someone, Guldborg.
I think the opportunities kind of also just arose for him. It wasn't necessarily planned the way they got the first kill. You know, 113 who's battling him in the top side river, and then moving down. And then this is what it then falls into. You pick up 2 kills because it's just a freebie in the way it looks here.
No, I think it was such a crazy game to be Lee Sin in. Like, he managed to finish Gourd Drinker at 8 minutes. He got the kills going, and the main thing about the opposite composition, having Sylas and Pyke, the only thing they can really do is fight their way out of situations. And if Lee Sin gets ahead in those situations, he keeps fighting. It's a dream situation for him, especially considering he has CC, right? He goes topside, he has the Sejuani, Annie, Lee Sin, 2v2 mid is something that we've seen across the board. First time here in the LEC, I'm very happy to see it, but this is something that's been played so much in the LPL and also in the LCK, so I'm happy that teams have the guts to pull it off.
And I can't even believe that he's living here. I thought he was straight up inting when I saw this place, because I'm like, there's no way this is going to be worth. You have a 400 goal shutdown on top of what you already give, and he gets out of here alive as well. So it's still worth it. It's limit testing, and sometimes, you know, it just works out in the end.
It does. Wow.
100%
look at that. He's just on the
rift.
Indeed. I know it was something that they were working towards also, kind of the early game in general. But Yamato, what do you think has been leveling up about SK as we've been watching them not only through winter, but also their start you've seen so far from them?
Yeah, the main concern for me always is when you have a team that is new, with a lot of new players coming into the league. I think the main question is how are they going to translate that into the next meta? It's like the previous meta was very heavy around the Lucian, Nami, the Yuumi, but that was the meta for so long, so it was very evident that they were very practiced on it in the bottom side. But this was a completely different Rook, because what happened was that Rakan was connecting with mid. We saw a lot of fighting 3v3 around mid, and Exakick just played this role of just farming out bots and taking it easy. And I think that as the game progresses more and more around the melee supports and the early game junglers like Lee Sin, knowing how to play that 3v3 mid is so important, because G2 is the main team that did that so much in winter, and now a lot of teams are going to look to contest that. We saw that with Astralis yesterday, and now we saw it today with SK. It is the outlook for Spring Split is just so exciting.
Yeah, I think it's so much about overloading the map in your favor as well. A lot of this, of course, will come out of priority, but in the early game, there was a huge support difference between DOS and JeongHoon, and the casters were talking about as well. They barely hit level 6 until, what it was, at 13, 14 minutes into the game, right? But that's just what's so necessary when you want to play that top side. The individual matchup between Aphelios and Veigar doesn't matter in the laning phase. The Veigar wants to scale, the same goes for the Aphelios into the late game. So if you can be the difference maker on the other side of the map, that's what you want to see. And that's just so impressive to see that SK is already playing it this well, because in Winter Split, they were all about the 2v2, and now they're evolving on the map.
They are evolving in front of our eyes to the side of Astralis. This is the first loss they have suffered this spring. What do you think about the choice they made in the bot lane? I know Kobbe has experience also playing the Veigar, for instance, but it does seem a little bit like, okay, you could also go for the full AD matchup, right?
I think the main thing is the pattern that I've seen from Astralis. In the first game, they first picked Elise, and then when Elise was out, they picked the Sejuani. And now when both were out, basically Sejuani was first picked and Elise was out, they are just slamming the Veigar with all of these AD carry bans, because they want to be in a situation where on 5-pick, that leader can be in a position to maybe roll out the Z, to maybe roll out anything that is going to counter the enemy, because they want to be stronger 3v3. In this game, unfortunately, the 2v2 on mid, when Lee Sin gets those kills, it becomes a very difficult game to play, because you can only fight your way out. But I think the fact that they are finding their identity so quick with leader, and they are really leaning into his idea of the game and finding synergy is already so good to see.
Willingness to evolve in that regard. Yeah.
100%. I also think I didn't actually have too much against the Astralis draft. What I thought was curious in the beginning was that we didn't see any Gragas. Markoon wasn't touched either, which is usually quite heavily banned as well on the red side. But, you had the Veigar into all these dashes, the Rakan, the Lee Sin. If Markoon did not get away with what he got away with in the early game, it could have been way close as well heading into that mid game. What was so crucial is just the fact that SK is such an explosive team. We saw it in the Winter Split, and we're seeing it now as well.
And you could say it's probably their game plan to make sure that they couldn't get rolling. Otherwise, it could have been an extremely difficult game to play for the Aphelios, but it didn't happen. Markoon got rolling, so did SK, and they are now undefeated. Let's pull up the standings, because it does look beautiful. And I share your excitement, Yamato, because I always find it so cool. Also that they're not a one-hit wonder. What maybe some people would have thought out of winter, it was only, it's because the other teams are bad. Not saying some of the others are better, but they're keeping it going.
I have to say as well, SK, they are looking more and more complete. On paper, I thought they would have like an easy weekend, but then all of a sudden, the Astralis SK matchup was one of the most exciting one of the whole weekend. I have to also give a shout out to the names that are less often mentioned. I think Irrelevant, fantastic, very solid.
Really
He's always delivering. Never is there ever an issue. It's like the camera is always the one's happening bot, but there's never an issue on the top side. And then as well, Sertuss, I think he had a fantastic weekend. Talia, Vi combo the other day, today with the Annie. I think also the Akali game was also super good. He brought them back with that double kill. I think that this is a very good look for SK as a whole.
And just to hone in, I know you said that, and I just really want to re-emphasize how good Irrelevant is, because he goes under the radar because he's willing to play the Sion, like we saw in Winter where he was just unkillable. He's willing to flex the Sejuani topside. He's willing to play the Renekton where he was played through. He's willing to be the teamfight engager as we saw with the Na. He rarely make mistakes, and he rarely needs to be a standout player in the laning phase, which is why you don't see the huge pop-up performance where it's like, oh my god, they're playing through him all the time. He has room for those on the Renekton, but he's just so consistently damn good, and that's what you need on a team like SK when you got multiple threats.
I think to just add, he's never ego drafting.
No.
There's been so many games.
Selfless.
He's so selfless in the way he picks champions. He's always picking 4-5 something that is going to make the comp complete. And then even though the matchup on paper might be hard, like early Sion versus K'Sante that we saw with the OP K'Sante that wasn't nerfed, he was always even, always chilling and just breaking the enemy comp by picking the champion that makes the most sense. Not like a Renekton stats pattern, you know?
No.
Like, oh, even CS, but you're useless, sucks.
He's doing his thing up in the top lane, and SK are 3-0. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, it's Team Heretics versus BDS.
Rakan and Aphelios bot. Yeah. Can we go Rakan?
You might have TP, okay?
Yeah. Can you look in Rakan?
Yeah, I'm looking. Maybe send your TP.
Can you kill him? Can you kill him?
Headsy. No W. Nice.
Nats is going to try to body block what he can. Easy kill onto the Pyke. Finn now going to do it, but he's just trying to clear the wave. He knows he's already dead. Double kill on the top side for SK.
Just base after him. Base after him.
I want to go.
Yeah. Look, I will flash in. Yeah. Look, Veigar.
Kill them all.
We can end.
They also want to get out, guys.
They want to get out.
Actually.
Nice one, guys.
What has happened to SK? They are unreal this year. First place, 3-0. Demolishing everyone in their path right now.
Ah, spring. The harsh cold melts away. Step by step, everything blooms. For some, the winter was hard, but nature always finds a way. Through growth, the flower emerges through the...
Some things take time, like revenge.